Hi, everybody. Coming up in this month's podcast episode, I'll be sharing about two purposeful career books that I've read and engaged with that have helped positively grow my career and my life. I think that you'll find those valuable and practical for you as well. Also, in this episode, we're going to have our purposeful point segment, that one key idea, one takeaway to help you apply what we talk about in this episode. And I want to encourage you as well. If you want to grow, or if you're somebody who wants to be growing, you want to check out and watch and listen to this episode. And then at the very end, as a special bonus just for you, I'll share another helpful career resource to help you be inspired to keep engaging with your own personal and professional development. So all that is coming up right now on this episode of the Work with Purpose podcast, and it starts right now. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this month's episode of the Work with Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Randy Mahoney Jr., and I'm so excited that you're with us today on this month's episode. If you're new to our podcast, we are a seasonal career podcast, and our aim in each episode is we really want to help you go from career confused to being a purposeful person in the work aspect of your life. And the way that we do that is that we work to offer you advice, encouragement, and education for your career journey. So the other thing I'll say to you as well is that if you're new to our show, we really try to package all of our intentional career kinds of help in to about 20 to 30 minutes in each of our podcast episodes during the time that we are in our podcast seasons. And our podcast seasons, they run from January all the way to June during each year. So that's a little bit about our career podcast and kind of why we exist as well. But I want to also jump back and say to you, heard me say that our career podcast, we really want to help you become more of a purposeful person in the work aspect of your life. What I mean by that is that with any of our episodes, I really want to encourage you to continue paying attention, really think about as you're taking in all this information that we're going to walk you through in this episode. I really would encourage you to think about how can you apply it? How can you really take action on it in your own life and in your own career aspect of your life, because that's really the important part of it, is that as you are taking in the information we're talking about, as you're applying it and taking action on it, that's you becoming more of a purposeful person. So again, so glad that you're with us here on this month's episode. I'm excited for our topic today. I'm excited to talk with you a little bit more about two purposeful career books to really help you grow in your career. So we'll get to that in just a quick second here. All right, so let's go and get into this month's topic. We're talking about two purposeful books to help you grow in your life and your career. I've got two that I'm going to share with you today. I'll talk about those in just a second, but let's get into the first one here. The first book that helped me grow, and you should be able to see this on my screen. Let me go ahead and remove me out of the way. Give me just a quick second here. Okay, so you should be able to see this on your screen okay. The first book that I wanted to share with you that helped me personally and professionally grow, it's a book called How Successful People Think by John Maxwell. And if you've not read this book, I would definitely encourage you to really check it out for yourself and really engage with it. I read this book probably in the last couple of months. Actually, this is the time that I'm recording this. And how this book really helped me grow was that I was really excited, and I appreciated how this book talked about 10 different types of thinking. Some that I had thought about and heard of before, others that were completely, newer to me. And you can see it on the screen here, or if you're if you see it on the screen, if you're watching the YouTube version of our show. So if you're wanting to see some of these slides and this information, you can definitely find this podcast episode on our YouTube channel and get kind of the text of it there. But with the How Successful People Think book by Maxwell, I really appreciated when I read this the first time how he talked about the importance of creative thinking, such as like ideation and problem solving. But I also found that I needed to really pay attention, at least for where I was in that current aspect of my life and my career. I really needed to pay attention to how important realistic thinking is and how important strategic thinking is. So those are a couple areas of thinking that really impacted me. Some were kind of, refamiliarizing myself with those. Others were like, I'm glad I, read through that and kind of thought on those ideas. So the other thing I'll say too is that how successful people think, I would say for me, this is a book that I know that I'll keep coming back to. And that's kind of how I encourage, I would encourage you to consider thinking about it. If you take a look at it, I would encourage you, this might be a book that maybe you read it through the first time and not everything connects with you. But I would encourage you, this is a book you probably want to keep on your shelf because you might need to come back to it, a year or a few years down the road to really think through or look through, some of those other different types of thinking as well. So that's the first purposeful, intentional career book that I wanted to put in front of you. And really quick, as we kind of get into this here, I wanted to also say too, for any of these books that I'm talking about in this month's episode, I want to also say that if you want a copy of this book for yourself, there are a couple ways that you can do that. You can look in the show notes if you are listening on your favorite podcast app. If you're joining us on the recording for this, as well, you can actually look in the chat box. I'll go ahead and put those in there in just a quick second here. But then you can also find it on the YouTube description as well. So let me go ahead and put these in here. One other thing I did want to say, and I make this clear on all these different areas, is that these links that I'm sharing with you, they're actually affiliate links. And so what that means is that when you click on those, if you choose to purchase those books, I may earn a commission from those. And I'll say that those are actually links with the Amazon affiliate program, and that I've got more details on that in the show notes and in the YouTube description and in the chat box as well if you're joining us live. But I am a member of the Amazon affiliates program. Wanted to be transparent with that, and want to also be transparent with you too that in me sharing affiliate links, I really work to only share links for resources that I've personally engaged with or personally used. So encourage you to check those out and consider, using those links if you decide to make a purchase, which is completely your choice. All right, so that's that first book. Let me jump back real quick. That first book that intentionally helped me grow in my life and in my career was How Successful People Think by John Maxwell. Definitely a great one, really practical and helpful. And now let's go into book number 2, which was probably one of the first intentional books that I think really helped me a lot in my own career development and personal development journey. And that book was 48 Days to the Work You Love by Dan Miller. Dan Miller, if you've not heard of him before, really great person, a long history of being a career coach and trainer in lots of different things. If you look further back in our podcast, I have an entire episode where I talk about him in a segment, just remembering his legacy and things like that, because he unfortunately passed away in the last year or two due to an illness. But 48 Days to the Work You Love was a great book. It was one of my favorite books. I first read it in the early 2010s. Really when I was a younger professional, really trying to find my own way in the work aspect of my life, and was really embracing a lot of get by jobs. You've heard me talk about that before on other podcast episodes about what a get by job is, and really why I wanted to put this book on this list is that it really helped me think about how do I go about my own personal job searches and, career discovery, and thinking about what my skills are, what my gifts and talents and abilities are, and who could I help with those and through those. This book by Dan Miller also, it really helped me take more initiative and also embrace the idea of following through or following up with companies as I was going through a job search as well. So this is definitely a big impact on me. So beyond all that, the other thing I'll say too is that this book from Dan Miller, it really helped me guide me in a lot of the work that I do now, just like this podcast or any other of the aspects of my life as well. Really thinking about how can I serve and help and coach and encourage adults to make positive, informed career decisions. So that's one of the books that kind of started it all for me. And so again, if you look in the chat box here too, I'll go ahead and put this in here. But if you also look in the description below this video, if you're watching us here on the YouTube version of our show, or if you are listening to us in your favorite podcast app, if you want a copy of any of these books that I'm talking about today, you can find the links in those there. But as I shared a little bit earlier, those are affiliate links, and I am a member of the Amazon Affiliates program. In the YouTube description, in our show notes, and in the live chat box, if you're joining us here on this live recording, that's got more details about that in there. Again, only take a look at those and consider purchasing if you think those would help you, meet your career or other goals. So again, real quick recap of those two purposeful, intentional career books that I've read and engaged with, but I want to share with you today to hopefully help you grow and develop in your own life and in your own career. The first one that I shared with you was How Successful People Think by John Maxwell, and the second one was 48 Days to the Work You Love by Dan Miller. Hope that you'll check those out as well. But with all this too, I wanted to share with you as well, beyond reading those two books and me sharing those with you, one other thing I wanted to share with you as well is something that this idea of reading helped me with. And I would say in the last handful of years, as I've worked to read more and embrace audiobooks and other things more, reading has helped me in my own personal and professional growth really embrace three ideas. And you can see those on my screen here if you're watching the YouTube version of our show. The first one, reading, making the choice to do that, it really helped me slow down. That one I think is really important because I'm sure that if you are living today in the United States, which is, kind of my frame of reference, the lens that, I coach people with and things like that, in our American United States culture, our culture is really, really fast. We're always doing activities. We're always doing things, going from one place to another place to another place. We've got this person to see, that person to see, this other person to see. So things are really, really fast. Reading and even audiobooks and even things like that was really helpful to help me just slow that pace of things for my own life. And I would encourage you to think about that as well, as that reading might be able to help you do that same thing as well. Help you slow down. Number two was reading, and this is great. Number two of what reading has helped me with, as I've kind of weaved it into my own life and adjusted it over time, is that reading has helped me better engage with thoughts, ideas, and concepts. So not only has reading helped me as a person and in my professional life slow down in general, but it's also helped me, come face to face with ideas and concepts. Some ideas and concepts that I might agree with, some ideas and concepts that I might disagree with. And it's really helped me face those and think on those and evaluate and stuff like that. Kind of chew on those ideas and concepts. And that's really valuable. It's really valuable. And I would say to you that reading and other stuff like that, that evaluating of ideas, you might not always get that on the other side of a social media feed. You might not always get that on the other side of, swiping your smart device that's giving you algorithm-based content and things. So even as I say that, I'm giving you a career podcast on a platform. So again, reading's helpful. I found it helpful because it's helped me evaluate and really face ideas, thoughts, and concepts and chew on those, think on those, evaluate, hey, do I agree with this idea? Do I disagree with it? Why do I agree with it? Why do I disagree? Those are really important tools to kind of sharpen in my toolbox as you go about life and as you go about, in the work aspect of your life as well. And then the third and final idea that I wanted to put in front of you is that what reading helped me with is that it helped me take action and help me apply those ideas and concepts and things like that. So moving from reading's helped me slow down a little bit, not go as fast, not be as fast. It's helped me come face to face with, engage with thoughts, ideas, and concepts. Some I agree with, some I might not, and really think through why that is and formulate ideas and think. And then the third one is that reading's helped me really apply and take action on some of those thoughts and concepts and ideas, and really, apply that. How does that idea, how does that concept show up in my own life as well? So again, I hope you found this topic helpful, just sharing with you two different career books that I've personally engaged with and connected with, and also share with you a bit more about how that act of reading, all of its different forms, has helped me stretch and grow. The other thing I'll say too is that you might be thinking, hey, Randy, like, maybe I've not done a whole lot of reading before. I might not know where to start. It might not feel as as easy to get started. I wanted to help you with this whole idea of reading, and kind of giving you some other helpful suggestions, or some other books to really think about. So again, if you want to take some action on this episode and really work to get some more resources, more tools and information to help you take a great next step with this podcast episode, I want to invite you to join my free 3-day email series. It's called Purposeful Books. It's again free 3-day email series, getting career help in the other side of your email inbox. A couple ways you can do that, and you can join that. If you look in the YouTube description below this video, if you look in the show notes in your favorite podcast app, or also if you're joining us live on the podcast recording for this episode, it'll also be in the chat box as well, to give you kind of a link there. So again, I want to invite you to look in those places, look in the YouTube description with this video, look in our show notes, or look in the chat box if you're joining us on our live recording, and consider joining my free 3-day email series called Purposeful Books. I think that you'll find it very, very valuable. In that series, I cover 5 books in total that I've personally read and engaged with, that have helped my own life and my own career. So I think that you'll find that valuable. Again, look in those different places, and I want to invite you, take a couple of days. It's absolutely free. Join my free 3-day email series, Purposeful Books. So beyond all of that, as we kind of move along in our episode, we've reached the point of our episode where I work to put in front of you one key idea, one takeaway to help you take action or apply what we've talked about in this episode, and we call it the Purposeful Point. So right now, let's get into that. This month's episode, the Purposeful Point. All right, and so now we've gotten to the point of this show where we talk about that one key idea, one takeaway to help you apply or take action on what we've been talking about, and we call it the Purposeful Point. And here is this month's Purposeful Point, that one key idea, one takeaway. And what I hope you've been seeing from this episode is to really come face to face with the idea that a rhythm of reading, that it can really positively help your career and the work aspect of your life, and really your life in general. So the Purposeful Point for this month's episode, I hope you've been seeing, hope it's really started to connect the dots for you to see that a rhythm of reading, that it can positively help your career, but also help your life as well. And I would really encourage you, consider thinking about, you might take a look in the show notes for this episode, or you might take a look in the YouTube description for our show. If you're watching us on the YouTube version of our show, consider, you might take a look at some of those 2 purposeful career books that I shared with you earlier. Maybe you check those out a little bit more. Consider purchasing one of those. You might also consider taking me up and joining me on the free 3-day email series that I share with you about, called Purposeful Books. I shared that earlier in this episode. So what I hope you've been starting to see, what I hope it's started to connect together for you, is that that rhythm of reading, whether it's listening to an audiobook on more of a slower speed so you can kind of take it in, or whether you're reading a more of a physical hard copy book, that you find it a valuable practice to start small and start weaving in to your own life to help you be intentional, purposeful, and successful in the long run of things. So beyond all of that, we've gotten to almost towards the very end of our show. And one other thing that I wanted to put in front of you, as I shared earlier, I wanted to give you one more helpful tip to help you grow in the work aspect of your life. And so, since you've been hanging on till and watching and listening all the way till the very end, I wanted to put one more great tool and piece of information in front of you to help you be inspired and be encouraged to think about your own personal and professional development. And that is this. If you look in the YouTube description of this episode, or if you look in the show notes in your favorite podcast app, or if you happen to be joining us on the live YouTube recording for this episode, I want to encourage you to check out the link for a video that I put together. It's called the 5 years example. It's called the 5 years example. It's one where I talk about, really this idea of it's important to really be growing or think about how you want to be growing in the work aspect of your life as well. So I'd encourage you to really check that out. Look in the YouTube description for this episode. Look in the show notes in your favorite podcast app and really check out that video from our podcast. It's called the 5 years example. I think you'll find it encouraging and helpful. All right, and so with all of that, that actually brings us to the very end of this month's podcast episode. I want to say thank you so much for watching and listening and connecting with us on this month's episode. And so thanks so much for hanging with us as well. So until our next month's episode, I want to encourage you, if you found this episode helpful, consider, leaving a rating or a review on your favorite podcast app. When you do that, it puts our podcast in front of new people so they can engage with our show as well. But also, again, just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day, out of your week to watch and listen and engage with this material. Again, thanks so much for watching and for listening. And as we finish up this month's episode, my name is Randy Mahoney Jr., and you've been watching and listening to the Work with Purpose podcast. And as we wrap up here, I want to encourage you with 2 quick things. Number 1 is you've been made with purpose, so work with purpose. And then number 2 is this. The best work that you can ever do is to encourage and serve and help someone else using your top skills, your top abilities, and your gifts, and to do all that for the glory of Jesus Christ. I'll see you next time.